Okay, welcoming our first podcaster ever, um, April C. from the YouTube interview series called Off the Spinner Rack. Has three questions for me. And welcome, April, and welcome Off the Spinner Rack. Um, and April asks, when and what did you like to draw when you first started out? That's a very easy one to answer specifically. Popeye. I I was I was in a perfect storm of a kind of Popeye renaissance in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Between the time I was about 3 years old and 6 years old. Um, and it was King Features has obviously packaged materials for the then reasonably new television medium, and one of the packages that they had was Popeye, the classic cartoons from Fleischer Studios from the 1930s, which if you haven't seen the classic Popeye animated cartoons that started in 1932, um, you are really missing state of the art animation. And this had a very profound effect on the 3 year old, 4 year old, 5 year old Dave Sim. Um, to the extent that I remember lying in bed and actually being able to play individual Popeye cartoons in my head because this Popeye cartoon package was running every weekday morning. I seem to remember it as being a half an hour. It might even have been an hour. So not only did I have this intense 5 day a week experience, but I was getting it reiterated and reiterated to the point that I was being programmed like a Popeye robot to do these cartoons. They had a very, very profound effect on my mind. Slight digression here. Um, my mother used to tell the story of us being downtown and being in the forecourt of one of the stores downtown, and me pointing in the window and saying, "Butterflow, Butterflow," and my mother going, "Where's the butterfly? Where do you see the butterfly?" Me shaking my head emphatically and going, "Butterflow, Butterflow." And what I was doing was pointing at the number four, which was on a price tag or something like that in the window, and responding to it because Popeye was on WBEN Channel 4 out of Buffalo. So as soon as I saw a 4, I was pointing at it and saying, "Butterflow, Butterflow," because that's where Popeye lived. Was whatever WBEN Channel 4 Buffalo meant, and obviously I didn't know that as a 3 year old. I knew that was where Popeye lived. But just amazing cartoons, amazing animation, even to this day. Very, very funny cartoons, although at age 3, I didn't get too many of the jokes. But definitely had the impact on me that Popeye was my thing. And Popeye was probably as real to me as anything else in my life. Part of that television generation from the late 1950s. I remember learning to draw Popeye just by copying one image wherever I found the image, and that satisfied my creative impulse. Obviously, Popeye moved around and had a lot of different expressions, and you know, definitely had a full figure presence. Um, it was satisfying enough to me at age 3, 4, or 5 that I could just do a Popeye face and then just keep drawing the Popeye face over and over. Another story attached to that is being at a variety store with my maternal grandfather, David Reed, um, at that age, and seeing a Popeye comic book. It would have been one of the Dell Popeyes. Popeye moved to Gold Key in 1962. So I don't know when specifically it would have been, but it would have been late in the Dell run. And my grandfather, bought the Popeye comic book for me, and obviously we went back to their house at 130 Province Street in Hamilton, Ontario, and only years later did I figure out what I was being taught was, what do you say? What do you say? Obviously, you're supposed to say thank you for buying me a comic book, Grandpa. And I wasn't getting it, and I was freaking out because it was my Popeye comic book. In the same in the same sense that I didn't thank my mother for letting me watch Popeye cartoons. Anything Popeye was mine by right of conquest. Uh, but that was definitely a traumatic event in my very, very young life. Was what do you say? What do you say? And there's the comic book there. And what I'm saying is, that's my Popeye comic book. Give it to me, which wasn't the answer that my parents were looking for. So there you go. That's definitely, in terms of your question, when and what did you like to draw when you first started out? Popeye head after Popeye head after Popeye head. Um, that's as much connection as I wanted in terms of actually drawing Popeye. Uh, but definitely early on, that this meeting of Dave Sim and Popeye the Sailor. And then April asks, when you created Cerebus, did you intend for it to be your main body of work, or did that expand as the character evolved? Answering your question as specifically as possible, um, did I intend for it to be my main body of work? No, I can't say that was true. My intention with Cerebus was really to do um, 3 issues of the comic book, self-publish them, and if Denny and I weren't able to make a go of Cerebus as a self-published comic book, um, that I would have 3 samples that I would be able to send to Marvel and DC and whoever else, saying, "Hey, here's the kind of comics I'm capable of drawing. If you're interested in having me write and draw comics for you, here's how I do them myself." Uh, but definitely, as a comic book fan, comic art fan, of long standing by that point. There you're talking about davesim, age 21. Um, I was aware that if you are one of those lucky struck by lightning comic creators, uh, you only get one of them if you do get that one, as LZ Segar did with Popeye, as George Harriman did with Crazy Cat, uh, as Charles Schultz did with Peanuts, as Siegel and Schuster did with Superman, as Bob Kane did with Batman. Uh, so I was always attuned to that possibility. The the fact that if this happens, and it's very unlikely that it would happen, but if it does happen, if suddenly you're having unexpected success with something that was just another, well, let's try this and throw it at the wall and see if it sticks, uh, then bear down on that and put all of your time and effort and energies into that, because if it is that one in a million shot, it's the only one you're going to get. So hang on tight to it and give it full value, and hope that you can take it from a minor success to a somewhat less minor success, or a major success. Um, so that was definitely the reaction to Cerebus number one, Cerebus number two, Cerebus number three. The early issues of Cerebus dwarfed any kind of reaction that I had had to any of the other cartooning I'd done, like the Beavers, for the local newspaper, uh, and for Mike Friedrich's Quack comic book. Uh, so as soon as I saw it, as soon as I saw that happening, or thought, well, it might be happening. Only one way to make sure that it does happen, if it is happening, is to just stick with this and put as much effort as I can into it, and try and do the best job that I can on it. Uh, that's what happened, and then pretty much from that point, it was okay. Now that I know that I can do this, how long am I going to do this? Was the next question, but that was 2 years or so down the line. A sketchbook practice? No, I never really had a sketchbook practice. Doing a monthly comic book, it was, unless I was actually working in my notebooks, figuring stuff out, doing sketches of characters, roughing in dialogue, that kind of thing. It was the sooner I stopped doing this, and the sooner I actually get onto a finished page, the better. And speaking as Dave Sim now, grandpa age, almost 70 years old, everything that I do now is got to be on Strange Death of Alex Raymond. Uh, I got to be putting in as much time as I can on the page. For most of my career, I was doing a page a day, and now I try to do a page a week on Strange Death of Alex Raymond, and that really requires complete focus and working as much as possible on the page, right from the outset, typing out captions for the narrative in the Joe Kubert Comic Craft font, and taping those lightly to the page, this is the order everybody's going to read this in. Try and get the order right, and then start pasting up the visuals. Um, the Alex Raymond Rip Kirby panels, background animated, isolated objects, um, portraits of Ward Green, Rip Kirby scripter, and King Features general manager, all those kinds of things. Um, Definitely one eye on the calendar. It's Friday. Rolly's coming in next Thursday, and we'll be scanning my finished page. I hope is a finished page. So the sooner I can get to it, and the sooner I can start doing a finished page, the better. No sketchbook practice room there. And then for the outside things that I'm doing, like the Ninja High School Cerebus crossover with Ben Dunn, that's just sort of fun cartooning. Um I can just sort of wail on the page, and as opposed to the exacting trickles of sweat coming down my forehead approach to Strange Death of Alex Raymond, it's okay, yeah, this is just cartooning. I can just have fun with this. If I can get to that for Tuesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday, or part of Wednesday, um, that's sort of a warming down exercise from Strange Death of Alex Raymond. But sketchbooks, no, I, sketchbooks were never a big part of my legend. I wish that they were. I always admired Bill Sienkiewicz's. I want to make my sketchbooks look more like my finished art, and my finished art look more like my sketchbooks, which he accomplished in spades.